What's happening, Adventureland? Today I want to show you how to make a shepherd sling just using paracord. Now, I have another video that I made that I show you how to actually create this version of a shepherd sling using 2 pieces of leather, but the leather sometimes is hard to come by. Someone actually made a comment that you can use an old baseball glove and cut the leather off of it to use for this. I actually got these straps of leather from a friend of mine who does leather work, approximately, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch thick. But I go into how to make this version of the shepherd sling in this video, and I'll tag the video in this post as well so you can see it. It's probably going to be right in this area about now. All right, so what kind of knots are we going to need to make a shepherd sling out of just paracord with no leather? Well, it's really just one knot. It's called a sheep bend. So this is what a sheep bend looks like. I've got 2 diameters of rope, and a sheep bend goes up through the loop, goes around the loop, and then underneath itself. And that's essentially a sheep's bend. You maybe even do a stopper knot here. But that holds very well under pressure. Some folks even will go around a couple of times. So we're going to use the sheep's bend in this. And we're going to use that to, if I can get this undone. See what I mean? Good knot. Yes. All right. Now, you're going to take 8 to 10 feet of paracord. This is cheap paracord from Home Depot, but you'll essentially take and put the 2 ends together, stretching it apart like so, and I've got the middle now. All right, so this is, again, rough, right? It doesn't have to be exact. You're gonna make a loop on both sides. You have a loop here and a loop here. Now, I recommend making this a little bit large. Don't make it too small. What do we got here? Approximately hand width, a little more. And then we're gonna create our sheep's bend. So here I've got this end of the line, and you're going to go around the loop and then stick it through here, right? And then you'll come through. So what do we have there? If this was not here, we essentially have a sheep bend. I probably said sheep, but it's sheet, S-H-E-E-T. All right, so I've got one sheep bend on this side, and I'll do the same thing here. Now, if you don't want to do all the wrapping that I just did, a little bit easier way of doing that would be to just take the rope and make a twist, right, on the inside, and stick this through. And then we're going to stick the other end up through here. And again, we have a sheep bend. So now we've got our pouch. Now, I will say I have used this type of sling, and you'll obviously need a larger stone, right? You can't use little tiny rocks because they'll fall through here. So a little bit larger stone so that when it sits in there, it's cradled by all 3 of the lines like that. So you'll want to put some tension on these, right? Snug these down. Now, what do we do with the ends? So this is also covered in the other video, but I'll show you here. What I usually do is I'll just make a little bow line on this side. You could even do a figure 8 to create yourself a loop. So simply put, you could, or even an overhand knot, you could just make a loop of some kind, right? You want to make sure that this loop fits on your middle finger, like so. Now, in the other video, I also talk about how to measure out the last knot, which is the release knot. But what you want to do is you want to take the pouch in this hand and extend it out until it's even. So if this was even, where the pouch hung straight, right, like that, we don't want it like this or like that, right? We want it to be essentially those 2 knots together or equal on either side of each other. I'll show you what I'm doing on my other hand. I'm essentially doing this and just pulling the rope up until it's even with tension. I know that at this point roughly is where I want my last knot, my overhand knot, or I like to use a fisherman's knot, but fisherman's knot looks like so. Wrap it once, make it a little bit longer. This won't be accurate as far as the length of rope needed. That's why I said, 8 to 10 feet of rope. Go around once, around the second time, and then I just go through the knots just a little bit different. I actually like this knot a lot. The final knot, you can just use an overhand knot if you'd like, okay? I personally don't like an overhand knot. I'll maybe even do 2 wraps. Make the knot just a little bit bigger. If you see there, it's just a little bit bigger. It's a little bit more to hold on to. That's an easy termination knot to use. And you can cut this off if you want to, or you can leave it. Up to you. Some folks will leave it, and what they'll do is they'll do another sheet bend, right? With a thinner piece of cordage here, so that when they throw it, it whips like a whip. It'll actually crack. And they know that their form is good. By hearing that crack. So super easy to make. You can make one for your kids, make one for yourself. It doesn't cost very much money, very economical, but it really works. I have used this. I really like this compared to this because there's more of an area here to hold the stone. What's interesting though about this one is that I don't like the way that I use these fisherman knots to cinch down on these pieces of leather, because it makes it hard to spread these out to accommodate a larger stone. So I'm actually thinking about using a little bit different technique that I cover in the other video, with just essentially the rope goes through and there's a knot on the end, so these pieces are kind of loose in here. But you can check that other video out and see how that's done. But hope you learned something cool. Hope it's something that you enjoy using and doing. Leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you think. And remember, whatever you do today, stay adventurous, my friends. Later.